Well, one of the things we have the opportunity to consider here at the Scott Learning Center are the increases in cotton productivity over time. You think about what technology and agronomic innovation have brought to cotton production, it's demonstrated very well by the productivity of cotton over time. One of our most popular demos is the one I'm standing in now. Each of these 8-row plots in here in this demonstration represent cotton productivity based on a certain era of production. The eras are 20 years apart. The 8 rows I'm standing in here represents 1939. You think about 1939, that was pre-pesticides for the most part, it was pre-synthetic fertilizers for the most part, and it took this much area to grow the same amount of lint. You move up to through the next 20-year period, we go from 1939 to 1959. That's the 8 rows to my left here. When you think about what that represents and what happened in that period of time, the innovations occurred in crop breeding. We began to use pesticides, we began to use synthetic fertilizers, and we certainly made yield gains, as evidenced by the fact that these rows are shorter. You move up to the next 20-year period, you go from 1959 to 1979. 1979, in that period of time, we continued to have genetic gains. Cotton breeding really started to make progress and change quality and fiber, and all of the things that go into making cotton a crop that we grow today to supply food and fiber to the world. You go from 1979 to 1999 and you think about the innovations that occurred in that period of time, we see continued gains in productivity. 1999 is represented by the 8 rows to my left here. In that period of time, you think about what happened. We started to develop varieties and things like Delta Pine 50 and Delta Pine 20. We had other varietal innovations that occurred and contributed to our productivity over time. The pyrethroid insecticides came about during that period of time. And also we had things like mepiquat chloride allowed us to have plant growth regulators that helped us balance cotton growth through that period. All of that is just a great basket of innovation that occurred. And it's not meant to be left out that Bollgard, Roundup Ready, and biotechnology came about during that period also. Those were real tools that were developed by Monsanto and/or Bayer ag companies that helped us gain control of problematic insects and weeds. But the one of these eras that really gets me most excited is the one here to my left now. This is representative of the era it took to grow the same amount of lint represented in these other plots in 2019. And you see that we have made continued yield gains over time. This has implications to our crop production today. Not only do we have new and more advanced biotechnology tools, we have insect control tools developing that can improve our insect control over time and make it more sustainable. We also have had some innovation occur in that 20-year period that is related to some of our broader issues around agriculture. Boll weevil eradication occurred, we got rid of the boll weevil, and the implication that that has to our productivity over time now is directly influenced and influences our agronomic production practices. You think about plant growth regulators, you think about the maturity of the varieties that we grow today. We have removed tobacco budworm as really a long-term threat. Boll weevil has been eradicated. We have increased yield potential greatly over time. That comes with the price of having somewhat less determinate cotton varieties. That puts a premium on our agronomic management. But all of this is rolled into a system that we try to represent here at the Scott Learning Center, so we can take those tools when they are introduced in the marketplace, have information about how to best use them, and hopefully we continue to push this productivity forward in the future. Thanks for coming to the tour.